Hello, folks, and welcome to another day number 22 on the road to 2000 ELO Rapid Series. I'm playing with the white pieces today against a 1655 from Mongolia. Oh, I think that's the first on these videos. And we're playing against some sort of modern, it looks like a Queen's Indian-ish type of play with the fianchettoing the bishop on b7, I believe is the move. So, don't really know this system very well. Knight c3 looks very natural. Maybe I'm going to bring the knight actually onto d2 and try to fianchetto myself on b2. That looks like it could be interesting. So no real opening sort of choice that was planned here. We're kind of playing to the opponent's whim, which is not always great as white. One of the good things about playing as white is that you can sort of be the one setting the game in motion. But this looks solid. So we're playing c3 to be able to take back on d4, be able to play b3 ourselves. Okay. All right, so we got this strong center, and trying to cut open at it. I'm not going to take because that helps the bishop. Instead, I'm going to go e5. And I think after e5, I'm probably doing better in the resulting position. Um, ooh, that's the idea. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Here, oh, hold on. Okay, maybe I misjudged the position. I have this queen a4 move that can always take back afterwards after this pawn takes. So it's not the end of the world. I think I could just go knight f3 here readily. Also, I could just take back with the knight. Let's see. Let me make that decision in due time. Probably pawn takes, weakening this pawn. I would assume that's the move. We're going to play b3 at some point and fianchetto the bishop ourselves on b2. I have checks available, so that's something to look out for. Bishop b5 and queen a4 are checks. Also, I forgot to mention, but if you like these videos, definitely subscribe to the channel. It helps a lot with growth. I've only been doing this for just over 3 weeks now, but it's been a lot of fun. It's been really cool having y'all along with me for the ride. So let's see if we can get this win and hopefully work our way upwards again. So okay, the move I saw was queen a4, which activates the queen. And the problem with queen a4 is that I see that the knight can come in here, so I'm probably not going to play queen a4. I could just go knight b3. You know, I don't have to win the pawn right away. It looks like this knight's not going to be good on d4 right now, and this also lets me bring the bishop out to a more natural square. So let's just go knight b3 here, and we should be able to win back our pawn. I have to watch out for the checks, but bishop blocks is just totally fine here. And this way we still maintain the defense on the e5 pawn. So a temporary gambit of sorts. It's not really a gambit. We were down a pawn for an extra move, but we're winning this pawn back just because we have more attackers than there are possible defenders. So here I said we can just block with the bishop and offer a trade, which I'm happy to take. And yeah, I think we're doing okay here. I think, more than okay. We're doing pretty well. I'll take with the queen. There's no more dark squared bishop, which means that there's no threats on the dark squared diagonal, so I don't have to watch out for pins anymore, which is always nice. And now I can even take back with the queen. The reason why I haven't taken back with the queen just yet is because I'm worried about this knight move. So maybe instead I'll just take back with a knight here. Go knight takes on d4, which looks pretty solid, because now bishop here comes with the idea of the knight taking back as well. I can even add the rook onto the c-file. Which makes that even more powerful. Okay, so speaking of which, let's do this. So, bishop b5, the problem is a6. a6 is a little annoying. Maybe first we'll bring the rook onto c1. After knight takes, I'm thinking maybe queen takes, and then if knight here attacking the queen, then I have bishop b5. So we're taking our time with the moves. I think we're playing it slowly but firmly. Maybe it would have been better to go rook d1, anticipating knight takes, and then, we're creating a threat on the d5 pawn. But with the bishop that's currently on b7, I don't think we have any long-term sort of... We don't have any immediate sort of threats on the d5 pawn. The d5 pawn is a big weakness, though, in the long run for my opponent. It's an isolated queen's pawn, and these positions tend to be better for the opposing side. Okay, so I guess they realize that there's problems here with the bishop sliding on, so they castle, which is a good move. Let's see. Let's see. Where do I want my light squared bishop? That is ultimately the question, right? I do want a castle. Bishop e2 or bishop d3 look like they make the most sense. Bishop here doesn't really do anything because afterwards the knight just moves out of the way. Actually, hold on. Does the knight have any good squares? Here? That doesn't seem like a particularly good square to me. Maybe we can play this. Where's the knight going to go? If the knight takes, queen takes, and then I'm fine. I'm not seeing anything. There's only knight a5 that looks like it makes sense. And then knight b8. I should calculate maybe knight takes here, because after the knight takes back, there's ideas of pinning. But I think I get out of the pin in time with castles. So let's go bishop b5. Maybe I'm missing something. Hopefully not. Okay, just knight takes knight. I was thinking queen takes here. Okay, queen takes knight here. Maybe that's something to look out for. Maybe I'll just go knight takes. Keep it safe and standard. And then after castling, we'll just bring a rook onto e1. Let's go back to a4 and then plan to go to b3 and target this pawn as well. And yeah, like this pawn is pretty much shelter for my knight, which is kind of funny. I like the look of this position. Okay, so here I was thinking castles because the knight's attacking this pawn, so maybe I should defend the pawn. I'm wondering if I can just go f4. Can I be punished for f4? I don't think so. The other thing I have to realize is that the rook can't slide onto e8 right now because of my bishop. So maybe I can trick my opponent somehow into trying to play that move. Maybe something like knight f3 here. Knight f3 helps this happen though, which I don't love. It's not playable right now, and it's annoying. Let's play f4. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. It's a little bit of a crazy move. I also like giving this check, but then g3 looks like it makes a lot of sense. I gotta watch out for the long diagonal though for the bishop. Maybe even if queen check, I can block with the queen and then go into an endgame where I think I'm better because this pawn is a weakness in the long run. Perhaps that's an idea. Actually, no, I can't do that. So if queen check, the queen blocks, it's simply just queen takes, and then knight takes, and I'm down a pawn. So I can't do that. Got to think a little bit harder here. A little bit harder. But long term, I really like my chances of taking that pawn on d5. It's hard for his rooks to get into the game and as it stands right now. If he ever tries to slide the rook onto c8, I can just take. So, okay, this just helps me once again. I don't mind this at all. Okay, so he's trying to play this move. I see. That makes a lot of sense. Now we just castle, though. And I don't see a problem with it. I don't see an immediate problem with just castling. There's this move here that's annoying. I do think about my opponent's threats after I play my moves. Maybe it's something I gotta work on. But yeah, currently nothing too serious to worry about. Maybe I should have worried about my king's safety a little more. What I'm realizing is that I go king h8. Okay, well, isn't this a mistake? Do I not just win a pawn here? Rook takes? Oh, I don't win the pawn right away, actually. And now my plan is to go knight here, attacking the pawn. I assume the rook defends. And we're going to have our own long-term ideas on this diagonal, which is nice. We like that. We like that. So this knight move is played, first of all, to improve our knight, second of all, to create a threat on this pawn. There are ideas, however, which I just realized are kind of annoying. Now they don't really matter as much. But there were ideas of... Ooh, okay, hold on. So I can't block. If I block, he takes... Can I block here? Wait, this looks interesting. Because this keeps everything solid, and it's pretty much a forced trade of queens, and I just like my pawn structure better in this endgame. After queen takes, knight takes, and the rook's defending the pawn. And I just like my position better. I think. I don't know. Perhaps the engine's gonna laugh in my face when we analyze afterwards. That tends to happen. People like laughing at my face for some reason. But yeah, no, I think that this could be good. I also trust my endgame strength. Isn't this just a free pawn now? It looks like it. Queen takes. Oh wait, no. Okay, my queen is pinned. Um, so let's do this. Let's take. That was my idea. After rook takes, we have some sort of knight move, probably. Maybe knight here. Knight here looks actually really interesting. Um, but the thing is, it can get kicked out pretty fast. I should try to prepare this move. Maybe I can just go g3. G3 seems like it keeps everything solid. There's no long-term ideas on the king. And it really just cuts into this knight completely, which I like. Okay, we're playing a3 here, so I can prepare this a2 square for my bishop. Although I guess here is a little annoying. But if here we're just going to play this, rook d1. Or maybe even bishop b1. No, bishop b1 hangs a pawn. So we're going to play rook d1 here after this move. Or I could just stay solid and play rook b1, but that seems a little bit too... a little too careful. Gotta be a little bit more offensive, I think. If this knight wasn't here... Okay, wait, hold on. Let's think. Let's think. I think there's ideas here. So let's play f5 first. Because after f5, let's say this knight moves out of the way. Then I can just... No, I can't take. Oh, I'm trying to get back rank ideas here. I'm sure there are back rank ideas. Rook d1, rook takes, bishop takes, rook takes. Or rook b1. Rook b1 seems slow. Rook b1, and then they play a move, and then I play knight d4, maybe? His knight's not going anywhere. His knight can always defend, though. That's the problem. Yeah, let's play rook b1, even though I don't like this move very much. We're going to play rook b1. We're going to try and improve our knight. Our knight's not doing anything at the moment. Here's a fork. Very natural-looking fork. And the only way to defend it is by sliding the rook back, so this looks solid. Okay, let's go for it. And they missed the fork, so that's good for us. Although I guess maybe now d5 is a threat, because then it gives the g5 square. So that's something to look out for. Check, and then, but there's nothing. Nothing really. So here, and then here is the threat. I can't defend against it in 2 moves. Okay, well, they don't see the threat then, I guess. Let's go knight here, attacking the bishop. And hopefully the bishop gets off of this square, so then I can try to threaten rook c1. Oh, I'm also threatening this. I didn't even spot that. Wow, that's nice. Also, this d4 pawn is a passer pawn, so gotta be careful with that. And also gotta be careful with time. I gotta be careful about so many stuff right now. My goodness. Okay, we got this. Playing this well so far. Up a clean pawn. You know, my rook is tied down to b2, which is a little annoying, but perhaps even knight here and then moving my rook is the best move, actually. Now that I think about it. He's probably calculating this. Oh, actually, no, this is not a move. Because afterwards, he has to move. Well, it is a move, I guess. But you can't ever take this for free. At least not yet. Okay. Really? So he's giving up the bishops. That's interesting. I did not expect that at all. Okay, we'll take. We are up a pawn in this endgame. And then, is there a threat here with checks? Not that I can see. The threat comes in if this is played, because then afterwards here. Well, actually, it's not that bad. Let's go here. We'll try to work with our pawns now. We have a pawn advantage on this side. As long as we're able to stop this pawn, we should be fine. And once the rook checks, our king can come into the defense of the pawn on d4. I do have to be a little bit more cautious about this pawn. I think I haven't really considered it too much in my calculations. Let's take no forks. Knight check here. Oh wait, there's no knight check. I was like, knight check here. No, that's nothing. That is nothing. That is nada. The devil wears Prada. Okay, he saw the back rank. I was kind of hoping he wouldn't. I was hoping that if I didn't talk about it, he wouldn't see it. Oh wait, I kind of messed up my advantage. Actually, no. If rook here, then I just have rook here. So my goal is to try to get this rook. Yeah, okay. But now I just have rook here. Oh wait, no, I don't. I don't have rook there. Maybe rook here. Oh wait, actually, I can just play this check and then come here. I will keep this pawn running. I just have to make sure I can stop this one. That's the one problem. Maybe it's better to go knight here with threats of mate. Let's do that. Let's set up mate threats. It's hard to stop. Very hard to stop if you don't play well right now, actually. Here, if you don't play a move that stops f5 right now, I think mate is practically forced. I was hoping my opponent would just scoop up this pawn right away. But maybe they do see the threat. Okay, they don't. And now I don't see how you... Oh, maybe this, I guess. But even that I can just play here. f6. Oh, that's beautiful. Wait, that's really nice. Wow. Let's see if my opponent can find a move here that I don't see. Because, I mean, it looks over. This just looks over. Oh, I missed that. I missed something. Oh no. Okay. Here. Down. Then where? Maybe we make our own passer? So now check here, check. Uh-oh. Check here, check. Oh goodness. All right, let's go after this pawn. I don't want to lose the game. I'm losing this pawn though. It's a little annoying. A little sad, a little sad. But ultimately, we must make sacrifices for the greater good. That's a quote, right? That must be. Okay, I'm also down to 26 seconds. We're going to play fast here. Play some speed chess. Okay, here's the vision. This, and then... Wait, what? You're dropping this pawn? All right, cool. Let's go here. Oh, shoot. I'm letting this happen. Oh, thank goodness. Rook here. Now this is a huge threat. And that was my idea. They have to... Okay. Oh. You know, they don't have to do anything. I'm just trying to... Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, I'm going to lose on time. Also, my opponent's super low on time, though. Oh, no. Okay, yeah, that was not a deserved win. Wow! Oh, my heartbeat is racing. Yo, how are you gonna play a rapid game and win the game with 2.7 seconds left on your clock? Oh, that was awful. Okay, I was doing much better in this game, though. I definitely had a winning position. Let's see if I missed some sort of mating idea or promotion idea. I'm sure I did. But we're back at 1693. We're back to just one game away from 1700, which is the goal for the month. Still got about 9-10 days left in the month, so right on track. Let's see the analysis. Okay, so the game started with e4, and my opponent played b6. I'm never familiar with these b6, g6 types moves, um, but I just kind of typically take the center with d4, play principal chess, and here I decided to play a knight d2 instead of the typical knight c3. And my idea was that with knight d2, I could probably play something like b3, c3, bishop b2, and have a nice little setup on my queen side. So after e5, I don't know why I didn't just take the pawn. I don't know. I don't have a good reason for that. It just didn't cross my mind. So instead, I went for c3 and just built a solid center here. After d5 was played, playing e5 made a lot of sense to me. It locked down my opponent's light squared bishop, gives me a stronghold on the center, and makes it hard to develop. After this c5 move, here I played knight f3, and apparently the engine prefers bishop d3, so just losing the pawn. Um, and why is this better? Let's see. You're trying to set up, I guess, some ideas. Knight h3 best move. What in the world is this? Yeah, I don't understand this. If somebody understands this, let me know in chat, but I don't. Anyways, I thought my move made sense, just defending the pawn. And now instead of taking back right away, going knight b3 here, just improving my position, realizing that my opponent doesn't have a good way of defending the pawn. Maybe here's a way of defending the pawn, I guess. But even in this sort of case, I don't know. I just prefer my position. Maybe something like a3, knight back, and then b4, for example, is a move. Um, I mean, actually, I could just take this pawn. What am I saying? I can just take the pawn. That's also a move. So instead, bishop check, bishop blocks, takes. Nothing too crazy here. A trade is offered of knights. I decide not to go for it because I like my knight at d4, which prevents the pawn from pushing forward. And if the knight ever takes, I'm able to solidify my presence on d4 with another piece. So instead, I go rook c1, trying to take control of an open file, castles, and then bishop b5 here. So the idea is essentially attacking the weaknesses in the position. So the pawn on d5 is a big weakness. Just this square in general. I was realizing, and I was calculating this because this move was something I planned initially, but when the king was still on e8. But after castling, I still played this move because I realized the knight doesn't have a really good square to go to. So, besides, I guess, the trade, which I don't really mind at all. Here, knight takes back. If I went queen takes, I just didn't like the look of queen takes. For some reason. I think it was specifically this reason. So I didn't want to allow that. So knight takes, and here they push out my bishop. Apparently, I should have gone back to d3, which makes a lot of sense. You're just eyeing the king side and realizing that this knight is not a weakness because there's no real way to get to it. But instead, I decided to stay on this a4 square to be able to target the rook on e8 if the rook ever goes to e8. And here f4 is the single move that maintains the advantage. I was wondering if I had any other moves. I was thinking maybe like, I don't know, knight here, for example. Apparently this is really bad because of d4. And so there's no way to defend this pawn and to so defending this pawn seems possible right now with this knight. But the thing is, the opponent can always trade and then win the pawn. And if you ever try to add a defender with the queen, the rook comes in, and the queen becomes a big weakness. So interesting stuff there. I played the only move in the position f4. I just thought it looked good, and my intuition served me right. Here, castling is best as well, and then trading the rooks is given it an accuracy. I'm curious as to why. I think the engine likes putting your rooks onto the E and F files to be able to create this pawn break. I think it really, really sees a very big strength in playing something like F5, E6, and that's able to happen with the help of the rook on E1. So instead, I went for the trade because I thought that this pawn on d5 was a weakness. What I missed is that, knight e7, for example, is a simple move that can defend the pawn, and the rook can slide in as well. So my opponent played a check first, which I decided to block with my queen, and then afterwards taking, and g3 here solidifying the position. So white is slightly better, but white is not winning completely. It's about plus 0.8, and it's time for me to prove it. So here, a5 is played with a threat of playing a4, which doesn't win the bishop, but it's a little annoying to deal with. So I went a3 here to be able to have that a2 square for the bishop. Now, what I didn't realize is that the bishop on a2 becomes a problem because the rook on c2 is very annoying. I can't ever really push this pawn, and the only way to defend the b2 pawn is to go rook b1. And now both my bishop and my rook are kind of immobilized completely. So I'm working with my knight here, making some progress. We win a pawn, but I think the engine doesn't like this because of the threats with opening up the position by playing d4 at some point. So can you even play d4 right now? Yeah, you can. And then black is just a tiny bit better. Actually, it's a zeros. But yeah, that's what it didn't like. So that's not what happens. Oh wait, it is what happens. Never mind. So d4 does happen. I decide to go knight d6. I the bishop, and the bishop is moved to d5, which is a mistake. It's a miss because now I get to trade my bishops, and now the rook on b1 is no longer planted there after I play this move b4, which is also apparently a miss. What am I supposed to play here? I'm supposed to play rook c1. Back rank threats first. So yeah, that frees up my rook completely. The only way to stop this is by doing something like moving a pawn forward or playing king g8, king f8. Sorry. So let's say king f8 is played. Then I just have something like knight c4, and now my rook is free, and this pawn is defended. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. I didn't see that. Instead, I went for this, which I thought was fine, and it is. Like white is still slightly better, pushing the pawn forward here. And then rook a2 looked annoying to me, but not because of this reason. Apparently, I'm supposed to go knight f5. So because the rook has left the defensive this pawn on d4, I'm supposed to go after the pawn. It's the only counterplay my opponent has. Instead, I go for the check, and I'm trying to create mate threats. So that was my plan. Is like, okay, maybe they're going to be too focused with pushing these pawns. I'm going to try to create a mate threat. f5 is the first one I made. If they don't address it, then rook h8 is checkmate. And kudos to my opponent. They played a move that stops that with g6. So g6 here, apparently the engine wants me to play rook d8. So why rook d8? Rook d8, let's say the knight moves. Then here is strong. No, but then they still have this. So let's say, okay, let's say rook d8. Let's say the knight moves to another square. Now f6, now g5. Knight takes g5? Oh, because they can't stop these pawns from promoting. Oh, that's cool. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so we're removing a defender of the promotion squares. I see. Instead, I'm trying to go for checkmate. He finds the only move here, which is g5. And I throw away my advantage by hanging the pawn on f6, and now I'm completely losing. Actually, they could just play d2, which I didn't spot. I thought I still had rook b1. But then rook c2 is played. Ah, that's problematic. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I missed that completely. But my opponent missed it as well. I got to be a little bit more careful in these types of games. And now I played the move that saves the game here for me by going rook b1. and going after this pawn with my knight, and I'm able to win the pawn, but I hang my pawn on a4. Intentional, I wasn't too worried about it. Now I'm trying to create some more promotion threats. And I really would have wanted to play rook d7, but I couldn't here because of the knight, so I was like, okay, what do? I'm just going to move my knight around. I went knight c5. The engine likes knight e5 better. Knight e5 makes a lot of sense. It doesn't let the king go on to f7. Makes a lot of sense, actually. I'm kind of sad I didn't see that. And then the natural progression is going knight c6, which actually frees up your rook from defending the pawn. Here, and I slid back, and then I went knight e5, and then I hung my pawn, which is bad, and I tried to save the game here, and I just missed a fork. To be fair, I played this move in 0.8 seconds. My opponent had 7 seconds. So everything starting like here should be taken with a grain of salt. Yeah, wow, I played these moves really fast. Alright, I guess the bullet trading comes into play. And here I hung mate in 6. But a win is a win. We are playing this 10+0 time control, and it has resulted in losses for me. But that same thing can be true for my opponents, which is why it's not an excuse. It just means that you have to adapt to the time. And yeah, I'm happy with the win. I think I played a good game of chess. It was very interesting. My opponent also played very well, so kudos to my opponent. And we will see if we're able to finally hit that 1700 mark in tomorrow's game. If you haven't already, definitely drop that sub so you can keep up with my games, be notified whenever I upload. And also, make sure to like the videos if you enjoy it, and let me know what you think. If you have feedback for me, advice, or if you just want to share some words, please, please, please do that in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day. I'll catch you next time. Peace out.